Press the start button. We'll go from there. All right. Good luck. Peace be the journey. Here we go. Are you sure you want to start? Yes, I want to start. Attendees are still on hold. Only staff can participate. Oh, there we go. Start broadcast. Oh, look, 23 people. All right, start broadcast. Here we go.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome, welcome, everyone who's currently in the room so far. Welcome to this webinar on how to create your first Facebook ad. I am one of your hosts, Sunny Nielsen. That's Sunny like a sunny day. And I am joined as co-host today with Kaz Bevan. And we both work here at Boostability. I am the communications manager, and I am in the Lehigh office. Kaz Bevan is our Director of Marketing Communication. She is located in Sydney, Australia. And while we're waiting for a few more attendees to come into the room, just for the first few minutes, we're going to go ahead and ask you to take a little poll about Facebook advertising. Just wondering, have you run Facebook ads before? How comfortable are you with them? You know, we'd love to see how many people, have you ever tried it before, or you really have never looked at it? So while we're waiting for a few more people to come into the room, feel free to, drop your answer in there. And that just gives us kind of a good idea of, the kind of people that are in here. We're pretty sure most of you are first timers, but we love to see, anyone here, even if they're pros. Always good to double check our work, huh? We want to make sure that we have the most accurate information out there for you guys. So we'll wait for a few more minutes to get a couple more people, and then we will go ahead and start the show. Now, just so you are aware, if you haven't ever been on a GoToWebinar platform before, there is a chat box feature on the right-hand side. You are more than welcome to use it. Say hello, say where you're from, anything like that. There's also a question box along the right-hand side. So during the course of the presentation, if you have any questions that crop up, or something that you would like some additional clarification on, feel free to drop your questions in that question box, and we will do our best to answer those questions, as many as possible, during our Q&A session after the presentation, okay? All right, we've got a pretty good number of people in the room here, so we're going to go ahead and close this poll for now, and we'll just get started with the rest of our introductions so that we can move right on to our presentation. So once again, welcome to any of the additional people that have come into the room since we first started. This is the webinar on how to create your first Facebook ad. This will be a walkthrough presentation so that you can see kind of step by step how you go through each part of the process in creating that Facebook ad. I am your webinar host, Sunny Nielsen, Sunny like a sunny day. I'm the communications manager here at Boostability. I'm located here in Lehigh, Utah. My co-host for the webinar is Kaz Bevan. She is our Director of Marketing Communication, and she is located in Sydney, Australia. Now we're going to go ahead and close that poll. Thank you so much for taking the time to drop in your answer. And once again, I'm Sunny Nielsen. Kaz Bevan is on the line here as our co-host. Kaz, why don't you go ahead and say hi.
Hello, everyone, and good morning from Australia. It's 5:30 in the morning here, so I apologize if I haven't had all my coffee yet. So you just understand what kind of thought that I have going on now, my mental clarity. But Yeah, I work for Boostability. I've worked for Boostability as director for 2 years, and for most of those 2 years I have been located in Sydney, Australia. As you can tell, I'm not from here. Don't have the accent for it, but just hang with me, Mike, and we'll go right with it. So, Sunny, I will let you take it away.
All right. Now, we know everyone earlier on took a poll on, whether this was your first time doing Facebook ads or anything like that. We have one more poll that we want you to take just a quick look at, and this will give you an idea of what your Facebook advertising objective is. Are you trying, because this is your first time, are you looking to try and get more followers? Are you trying to get more engagement on specific posts? Or are you just trying to drive traffic to your website? Any of those things, we just kind of want to get a feeling for, what you would like to have happen with your Facebook ads. And again, if you're not sure, don't worry about it. It's all good. Because that's the joy of Facebook ads, is that they can be tailored for so many different needs. So go ahead and throw your answer there in the poll. We'd love to see that and just kind of see where you're at. It looks like we have quite a few people trying to generate leads, and that really is one of the biggest reasons why we use Facebook ads. And for those few of you that are clicking not sure, again, this is the place for you. We'll walk you through like really good starting points for Facebook ads. And then as you start playing around with them, you can get a better idea of what you'd like to have happen. Awesome.
Great, and while you guys take that poll, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Facebook ads in general as an intro. So I imagine you're here because you want to create your very first Facebook ad, and if you're very, very new to that, don't worry, this is exactly for you. And you can expect that we'll be having a series of workshops to follow this up where we can work in smaller groups to really answer your questions and help walk you through things. So today is going to be a broad overview of how it all works, how you can get started, how you can get in there and do it yourself. And then we'll give you a little bit of time to maybe post some new posts, come up with some new images, and then we'll have kind of a deeper dive workshop together where you can take those images that are ready for an advertisement and we can help plug them in together, and I can help you specifically decide what the best targeting would be to get started with. So today we're just going to intro how it all works. If you've never even set up your Facebook page or your Facebook advertising account, that's fine. You're still in the right place, and we'll kind of go over those things. So just don't be afraid. We'll make it easy on you. So basically, Facebook is really great for advertising. It's something that's just growing and growing. As you can imagine, here at Boostability, we do a lot of different advertising with Google AdWords, with remarketing, and of course with Facebook. And so Facebook continues to be one of our very top performers when it comes to conversion rates. We get the best bang for our buck, in other words. So when you really learn to all about Facebook targeting, especially the audience part, you'll see how it starts to work for you. Don't expect it to work immediately on something. I had somebody recently that I was speaking to on our Boostability Twitter account that just ran a one-day Facebook campaign and expected big results from one day. Facebook has an algorithm where they expect to get to know you, and the longer that you're running ads with them, the more they understand what you're trying to do with them and can help you out. So it's not all going to work in just a matter of hours. It's something that you have to fine-tune and let Facebook get to know you as well. But I'm here to help you with that. And what we're going to focus on today in this setup is specifically followers, engagement, and clicks. So followers would be boosting the number of followers you have on your Facebook page, promoting that page. Engagement would be getting more people to read and comment on things that you're posting to your page. And web clicks is getting people to your website from Facebook. So I'm going to let Sunny go ahead and start our presentation. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the questions box, and we'll do our best to answer them as we go along. But we'll have a Q&A session afterwards where we take a deep dive into everything you need to know.
All right, thanks so much, Kaz. We're going to go ahead and close that poll and get started on our presentation. All right, now everyone should be seeing our lovely homepage, how to create your first Facebook ad. All right, here we go. Now, Facebook has nearly 1.5 billion users of every imaginable age, race, nationality, and profession, which means it offers an unbeatable advertising opportunity for savvy marketers. Facebook ads are unique in that they let you target your audience by age, gender, ethnicity, relationship status, or even business roles for effective business-to-business marketing. With audience targeting, you can pinpoint only Facebook users who are in your target market. They are ideal for small businesses because they are effective, easy to create, and surprisingly affordable. Now again, if you are new to Facebook and Facebook advertising, don't worry about it. In this webinar, we will walk you through everything you need to know to create your first Facebook ad. Now, before you can run a Facebook ad, you will need to have a Facebook business page already established. Now, creating a page is free and it takes only minutes, about the same amount of time that it took you to create a personal Facebook page, it takes you to build a business page. If you do need more information or help on how to set up a Facebook business page, you can visit our free resource section of the social media how-tos at boostability.com/boost-u. Again, we have a free resource section on our website. It has social media how-tos and many others. Again, that's boostability.com/boost-u. All right, well, let's get started on creating your first Facebook ad. Now, if you are going to follow along, you should be logged into Facebook as the user currently managing your business pages. So for this example in this webinar, ours is a personal Facebook page for a user named Kate Smith. Now, if you go up to the top right-hand corner of your Facebook page, you will see an arrow. If you click on that arrow, you will see a drop-down menu, and you can see all of the pages that you manage under this username. From there, scroll down and click on the area that says Create Ads. Now, before you can build an ad, you will need to create your ad campaign. Now, creating an ad campaign, you will first need to choose an objective for the advertising campaign. From this window, you can choose many different objectives. Some of these choices include, like Kaz was saying, boost your post, which gives a little engagement boost to an existing post on your page. Promote your page, which helps to get more Facebook followers. Or you can send people to your website, which just drives visitors specifically to your website. Now, of course, there are many more objectives listed on this page, but we really emphasize that if you are a beginner to Facebook advertising, that you kind of want to focus on the top 3 of these objectives, as these are the most common used at the beginning. So then once you become familiar with those and with Facebook advertising in general, you can then branch out and you can explore the other objectives and how those can specifically help your business. Now, if you look along the left-hand side, you will see a sidebar that has the words campaign, ad account, ad set, and ads. Now, you can always refer to this left-hand sidebar to monitor your progress in the ad campaign sign-up process. Now, once you select your objective, you will just need to select the desired page that you want this ad campaign to run for. And this is especially, you need to pay attention to this if you have more than one page on your account. You just need to choose the one you want, name your ad campaign, and then click Create Ad Account. Now, all of these are your warm-up to creating your actual Facebook ad. So if you have any questions about creating your ad campaign, anything that we've just talked about, again, feel free, drop them in the question box, and we will do our best to answer as many questions as possible during our Q&A session. All right, so I hope everyone's, with me so far. we're going to move on to creating your actual ads. All right. Now we move right into creating your ad. Step 1 is to create your ad account. You will need to select your country, currency, time zone, and account name. Once you've done that, step 2 is to choose your audience. Now this is a big one when it comes to Facebook ads. And this is what makes Facebook advertising so valuable. You can narrow your target audience by age, country, language, gender, and many other factors. Now, as you are selecting these choices in your audience, if you choose to target by location, a map will populate and that will show you the area that you are selecting when it comes to location. Now, below that map, if it auto-populates a map, there is the next section down is an area labeled detailed targeting. Now, detailed targeting allows you to laser target your Facebook users in ways like their demographics, interests, behaviors, and many other factors. And this is where you really get into the laser targeting that Facebook is so famous for and the reason why people want to use Facebook ads. Now let's walk through an example. So in this example, we've chosen interests as the general target. And as you can see, when you click on interests, a drop-down menu appears that looks something like this. And below interests, you can choose any additional interests, general interests such as entertainment, family, or food and drink. Or you can click on one particular interest and that will give you even more specific choices. And as you can see, if you pick one such as shopping and fashion, it will open up another drop-down menu, and this is where you will get even more specific, detailed choices in your interest section. Now, I know that's a lot to take in when choosing your audience, and it can be overwhelming. If you are a first-time user, don't stress. This is the area that you will focus on, and this is where you can run it and tweak it so that you can get down and find the exact person that you want to advertise to. Now, if you have any questions about step 1 and step 2 about creating your ad account and choosing your audience, again, just drop them in the question box and we will be going through all of those questions during our Q&A session, or as many as we can fit in the time that we have allotted. Okay, let's move on to step 3. Now this is the other large section of choosing a Facebook ad that a lot of people get concerned about, choosing your budget. Everyone's always worried about money. Now when you choose your budget, there are 2 different budgets that you can set for your ad campaign. And we'll go over each of those so that you have a pretty good understanding of what those are. You can set a daily limit or you can set a lifetime budget. Now, a daily limit is the amount of money that you want to spend on this ad every single day until you turn off the ad or until your scheduled end date, because you can schedule your ads to have a start date and an end date. So again, daily limit is the amount of money you want to spend every single day. Now, you can set daily limits or you can set a lifetime budget. A lifetime budget is the maximum amount of money that you are willing to spend for this specific ad campaign. And that's regardless of whatever schedule you may have put in place. So as you can see, the start and end dates allow you to schedule your ad within there, within a specific time frame or length of time. And if you have a schedule on your ad, it will run until your end date or until your lifetime budget is reached. So I know budgets can be very confusing, and we really want you to be cautious when starting out, to be very aware of the type of budget that you select, because this is often where people get frustrated with Facebook ads because they won't realize what kind of budget they've set, and then they will end up overspending and not even realizing it. So again, budgets can be a little bit scary, but the way to kind of tweak around that is to make sure that you just set low budgets to begin with until you feel comfortable that you're hitting the right target, and then you can always scale up your budget after that. Now, this is the second part of your budget, and this is how you can choose when you will be charged. And there's two different ways that you can be charged. You can choose to be charged by the impression, and that's for the widest audience. And the impression is every time someone, quote unquote, sees your ad in their news feed. So this does give you the widest audience in seeing your ad, but it may not be the most effective in terms of driving specific leads. Or you can choose page clicks or likes, and this will give you the most interested audience because you will only be charged when someone actually clicks on your ad. Now, once again, if you have any questions about your budget, your audience, anything like that, we are here to help you. We're just walking through this presentation. Feel free, drop your questions in there in the chat box, or in the question box, pardon me, and we will go over all of them at the end of the presentation. All right, next slide. Now, once you've gone through all the technical things in terms of setting it up and finding your audience, now is the time to design your ad. And this is the fun part. And this is where your creativity can shine. So on your ads, you can include up to 5 images. And multiple images work well for a product or service with multiple parts or stages. Otherwise, a single image may be more effective. Once you've gotten that and you've added your images, go ahead and insert an engaging headline, some captivating body text, and of course, don't forget to include your call to action. And once you've included all that, you just push the big green button in the bottom right-hand corner to place your order. Once you click that button, Facebook will ask you to input your payment information. You can choose if you want to pay via PayPal or by credit card. Once you input your payment information and your ad is approved, your ad will be active. And congratulations, it's just that simple. You've just created your very first Facebook ad. You are well on your way to marketing success because Facebook advertisements are an easy and effective way to reach the audience you want at a price that you can afford. Now, I know this was a pretty fast little walkthrough presentation, and I'm sorry that we couldn't do this live on this particular presentation, but if you have any questions or need additional information about advertising on Facebook, you can always go back to your first personal Facebook page, click on the arrow in the upper right-hand corner, and go down, and just below the area where you clicked Create Ads, there is a section titled Advertising on Facebook. And this page will walk you through a deeper set of details on how Facebook advertising works and on creating your ads. And now that we've reached the end of the walkthrough, we are more than happy to look through some Q&A, some questions that have come up throughout the presentation. So Kaz, why don't you take it from here and we will start looking through these questions.
Yeah, why don't you switch the presenter over to me for a second, and I will go over some things. Just so everyone knows, we have made a walkthrough video for you guys that will be automatically emailed to everybody that was in attendance. So you can look forward to that. You can watch it as many times as you need to walk through it over and over again, and we will again be having some follow-up workshops. So let's kind of walk through that live together one more time. So you're on your personal Facebook page or your news feed. And that little button is what navigates you to all the pages that you manage. So here's the page that I manage. When you click on it in that way with the arrow, that means that you're not just visiting your page, that means that you're currently managing your page. And then scroll down with the same arrow down to create ads. And then while I go through this, Sunny can send me any particular questions that we will go over after I walk you through this. So at the top two that you can get started with right now, you don't need any imaging for it, is the boost your posts, which is engagement, getting people to collaborate on the posts that you've already posted to your Facebook page and to promote your page. So I'm going to walk you through a boost your post really quick. So again, this is where you choose which page that you're advertising to. It'll have every page you manage. So I'm going to choose this one. And right here on the drop down, and this is only for the boost your post type, it'll give you recent posts that you can promote. So let's say I really want to promote this recipe that I posted. It'll automatically name the campaign for you something that makes sense to them. You can rename it if you want, but that works great for me, so I'm going to leave it that way and just continue. Now this is the part that can seem kind of tricky, so in the future we're going to take a deeper dive into workshopping this together based on your needs and your questions. But don't be afraid to play with this part for now. My suggestion is to go ahead and give some promotion posts and some boost posts, those two different types, and give them a try. But as you do, give it a really low budget. So for example, let's say I think my audience is any young adult. So I'm going to say from 18 to 45 range. I definitely want people that speak English, which is definitely important with Facebook. If you want, if you're only speaking in English, I highly recommend putting English and other English languages here so that you don't end up paying for likes and clicks from other countries or anything like that that maybe won't promote your page as well and help you out with that page. And as you get into targeting, this is the part that I want you to take some time to really click around and get to know. So I can say, you can just give it a try. Type some things. This is where your keywords are. Let's say I really want people involved on my page that are writers or that are really into marketing. Maybe I own a flower shop, so I'm going to search about flowers. And then you do multiple ones. So flower bouquet, flower girl. So really give that a try. You can almost do no wrong. This little audience definition is your friend when you're doing that. So essentially on this side, it'll tell you if you still have really broad messaging or if your messaging is too specific. You want to stay in this green area, and you do that by just choosing more things here. If you choose too many things, then you'll see it get to too specific, which means that you're not going to get as much value. If you stay in the green area, it'll tell you your potential reach. Now your reach doesn't necessarily mean that 48 million people are going to click on this or comment on this. That just means how many people can potentially see this based on the targeting that you set up. And then this is the part that I really want you to play with when you're starting your first ad. I would recommend doing a lifetime budget as your first ad. That means that when it's out of money, it's over, or when the end date, either way. But Facebook, as any business probably would, Facebook will spend as much of your money as they can. So this is why I want you to make sure when you're really starting out to be cautious, to play around. So you need to put enough money in that you can tell if something is working or not, but not enough in that you're going to feel really bad as a business owner or individual when you realize that maybe you accidentally typed Spanish up here instead, and that's not what you're looking for your flower page, as an example. So when I get started, I like to start with just a $10 or $20 budget, and I'll run it for just one day, and choose the times that it starts and ends, Some really great times to choose are what's best for your business. People tend to be on Facebook before work, during lunch, after work, on the weekends, but not as much on Sundays in my experience. So you might want to, depending if you're business to business or your business to consumer, I would say you might want to try running it from about lunchtime tomorrow to lunchtime the next day, for example. So you can set it up like that. And again, this is a boost post. You really want to post for engagement is where you're going to get the most value. Impressions means you just want people to see it. You don't want them to talk about it. You just want them to see it, get it in their head, which is great in the same sort of sense that television advertising is great. All those commercials that you see over and over again are just getting that idea in someone's head. So you'll go with post engagement and you'll just give it a try. So we've chosen the posts. The post that we chose will pop up here, and then you'll click to place order. So that's essentially how you'll get started. And again, we'll be reviewing more of your questions, and we'll be building workshops and webinars off of the things that you want to know. For now, I'm going to go over some of the questions that you've been asking. So somebody asked, could you talk about the text on pictures? And I imagine you mean the text that comes across on here. So for example, on my page, how I have this photo with text on it, that is something that you make personally. So Facebook isn't going to add the text to a photo for you. That's something that you and your designers would make. If you're, again, a small business or individual without a design team, I highly recommend a website called Canva, canva.com. It's free or very cost effective. You just go here, you sign up, and it'll allow you to drag and drop photos around to create photos with really creative text, fun backgrounds, things that'll work for you and your business. Then you can post those types of things to your page and then promote those pages. So that went ahead and answers our next question about where to get images. The way that Canva works is they have a lot of free stock images, and if there's anything that's not free, it's only $1. And so it's great for cost-effective photos, and yeah, has really great text and it's easy to use. So go ahead and play with that, and if you have any further questions about it, feel free to chat us or tweet us or send us a message on Facebook. We'll be happy to help you out with some of those personal questions as well. And the next question is, how many Facebook pages can I have for a company? That's a good question. For the same company, you don't want to have too many Facebook pages. So if you have many different companies, you can manage as many as you want. Facebook will just let you have a heyday with pages. But let's say for boostability, I want to manage 5 different boostability pages. For Facebook, they need to have a really clear difference and not be the same company. So it can be boostability Utah, boostability Germany, boostability Australia. That is enough to define a clear difference. And you need to make sure that you are, while you might share some of the same content, you need to make sure that you're sharing unique content to each of those pages so that Facebook doesn't flag you essentially as a spam account. So yes, you can have as many pages as you want, but if you're having too many pages centered around the same subject, Facebook can lock them down. You need to be growing your followership on all of them with unique content. And let's see here. The next question. I have an online women's clothing boutique targeting all the U.S. Should I limit the location more? That's up to you. We definitely target entire countries most of the time ourselves. If you have a store that you sell out of versus online, it's kind of up to you how you want to target that. Things to help make that decision is if you look at the demographics of your current organic Facebook followers, or if you have Google Analytics on your website, and you look at that and look into those reports for the last year or so and see where your top areas are, just the locations that people are coming from. And if you have any particular analytics with your sales, where are your sales coming from? And then what I would try and do when really targeting different areas like that is create a campaign specific for those areas. So when you come back to this page where you're creating an advertisement and you want to boost a post or send people to your website, when you get all the way through to creating the ad again, you can choose the very particular areas all the way down to just major cities of areas where you do have people purchasing your items or at least looking at your website. And then I would name the campaign after these areas. And reason being is that throughout time you're going to optimize these campaigns. You're going to add to them. You're going to tweak them a little bit. So you can call it, Clothing Store Georgia. And this one will only be about targeting in Georgia. And over time, you'll target the whole state, or you'll go in and edit and target Atlanta, or do whatever you need to just kind of tweak things and test things over time. And while you're testing over time, Facebook will be like, hey, this is some traction we can give to this page. They know that they have a relationship with you, and therefore you'll see over time your posts start to naturally get some momentum. So hopefully that answers your questions. If you have any more, feel free to reach out to us on our Facebook page, and we'll chat with you there about it. And then it looks like somebody is asking about the 20% rule for Facebook photos. And that is a thing, absolutely. Facebook will automatically take your advertisement down if more than 20% of your photo exists with text, and anything that can be read as text. So even if it's a bunch of dots that spell out a word, Facebook knows that this is a word. If it's a logo, it knows that this is a word. And so what you need to do there is you really need to be mindful of what your advertisement looks like. You want to make sure that the image promotes what you're trying to say, and you give that kind of the forefront area, and then give it some good space like this. Make sure to give it some space around the edges too, because Facebook likes to zoom in a little bit. And then just center your text in a way. Keep your text clean and simple, short and sweet, and always make sure that your image can also do the talking for you, so that people can essentially, as we all do, you're just scrolling quickly through things and you want to know, hey, what's interesting? And bam, you see that, and you'll want to stop and be like, okay, I see that this is a webinar, and maybe you'll just keep scrolling like we do, or maybe you'll stop and want to see what it's about. So really, my suggestion to stay below the 20% text rule is that short and simple, make it loud in other areas, make it bold, easy to read when just scrolling down, make it all about just capturing someone and not about giving information. So you can see we didn't do all of the date and time and location on here because that would take up too much space. What we did is we did it up into post at the very top where you write something. So when you do create an ad, you do get to put the text that goes with it. So it's the same kind of way as creating an ad here. So you put the information about your sale up there. So maybe you have a sale, you just do a big 20% and a nice coupon looking image, and then up here is where you would say sale is on May 31st from May Day from 7 p.m. to 12 p.m. and that's where you're going to see the information. Let's see, the next question is format and sizing. So JPEG is always going to be the best format as far as keeping your photos from getting too grainy, and we have an awesome tool for you that gives you a cheat sheet for sizing. So if you go to boostability.com/u, I'll show you really quick. And scroll down to our social media how-tos. And here you have Facebook for Business, which is where we're putting everything you need to know about Facebook. You'll find a copy of this webinar right here as soon as we have it recorded. But down here at the bottom you have tools for Facebook, and this gives you a cheat sheet to all sizing information. It can tell you the different sizes of advertising, the sizes of the different header photos, and anything that you need to know about sizing for your images so that you can make sure that they're the right size. I definitely like to go bigger with my Facebook images and then let it resize itself because it tends to work better. So I always do that 1200 by 1200 style image, knowing that it's going to just zoom in towards the center. So that's something that I would recommend. And then some example of good Facebook ads. Let's see if I can show you any of those. This is something where I would recommend you look at your own system. It doesn't look like I have anything I can show you right now, but essentially when you're scrolling through your own news feeds, any ad that you see here or as you're scrolling, take note of the ones that really capture your attention, take a screenshot of them and use them as examples for yourself. Facebook just unleashed many different types of ads. They have different things that you can post that include videos, photos. They have the 3-photo panel ad, which is really cool. You can make a photo that's all the same, but it's split up into 3 different advertisements. And these are things that we'll workshop together in the future for more details there. But to get some good examples of Facebook ads, yeah, just look around at what is on your page, and I'll try and find some examples as well, and we'll post it to our Boost You page. And someone asked to elaborate on boosting a post. Okay, boosting a post is something that it's a Facebook term, although we'd like to claim it as our own since we're Boostability. Boosting a post is exactly what you would imagine. Boosting is giving it a little more face time. So, for example, the way that Facebook works with Facebook pages is that they're really picky about what they're going to show in people's news feeds, even if they follow you, which is unfortunate, but people have started to follow far too many pages, far too many other people, and in order for Facebook to be able to display it all, they have an algorithm that simply displays what people are looking at the most. So what you want to do is get people looking at your page often enough that your normal posts will come up on their page. So these are just my normal posts, but maybe people aren't seeing them because they haven't been to my page in a long time. So there's 2 ways to boost a post. You can go about it the way we did in this webinar, or you can simply come here. I recommend going through the longer process so that you can really do the targeting correctly, but you can do it here as well. So in the bottom right corner, if you're signed into your page as the manager, you can just click the bottom right corner. And the reason I recommend going the long way is because this will choose general targeting for you already, and many people just say, okay, yeah, boost, and they turn it on right there. So it's easiest to go through and edit this. You can do it from this window as well. So let's say boosting a post is just about getting more people to see your post, which will get your page in general seen more in their news feed. If they come to your page and visit it, they'll get this particular post in their news feed and the right-hand side of the Facebook page more often, and it'll basically ask them to engage. So boosted posts are most often in what they call the desktop feed. So that means this is in your news feed where all your friends' posts are. This is where people see it, and then on the mobile news feed as well. So that means they'll be able to see it from their mobile phone. So that's the primary area where you'll find an engagement post, because the whole point of it is that you're trying to get more people to like it, to comment it, to share it, to read it. So if you do it this way, you just choose whether or not you want it to be targeted to only people who follow your page, to people and their friends, or to everyone else that you choose to target. So when you do it to everyone else, you get to choose your targeting through these areas right here. And this is where you set a budget. When you do boost posts from this part of your page, you're setting a budget just for that ad, and it will spend the entire budget. You can choose 1 day, 7 days, or 14 days. So it's really a quick view on how to boost a post. Hopefully that helps. If you have any more questions about that, let me know. And then let me see the next question. You can see the ad before you complete the order. As you're building it out, you'll begin to see it on the right-hand side. So not just in this screen view, but also when you're in the main creating ads view, you'll be able to see what it looks like, and Facebook will tell you what it looks like on mobile, on desktop, and then if you get really into it, you can do right-hand ads, which are the ads that show up right here on your main newsfeed, for example. So these ads, it'll show you what they'll look like if they come up on the side here. And you can also connect an Instagram account and do Instagram ads, which will show you what those look like as well. But that's kind of advanced. I would start mainly with the newsfeed and mobile feed ads first. And then someone asked, would you say there is a type of demographic retargeting option that is more valuable or effective than others, and their company is particular about travel? And I don't think anything is any more valuable than the next on a broad scope. It definitely has to do with your business. With travel, you'll probably want to get to know your audience profile. So the way that I like to do it is I like to put myself in my audience's shoes. So let's say we'll use your company, travel company, as an example, because I don't know anything more about it other than it's travel. I'm just going to make this up. So my ideal person is going to be a business-related person that is traveling on business trips. They're here with large groups. We need them to rent out our conference room. We want them to come back annually to rent several rooms. So what does that man in a suit or a woman in a suit look like? Okay, they're probably over the age of 35, between 35 and 55, so that gives you age. Our conference center and hotel is located in New York, so we're going to do Eastern United States only. We're going to start out with that. So as you kind of imagine what this person looks like, you get to know things about them. And one of the tricks of the trade is to really get into their mind, not just on the surface of what they're doing and what they want from you. You need to get into deciding what that person does on their free time as well. So let's say these people most likely drive a certain car. They most likely have a mobile phone. They most likely enjoy watching sports. So those are things that have nothing to do with travel. It has to do with your persona. And when you're targeting, you're going to target a persona. So you're going to target, let's say we're going to make a very niche target of just a 35 to 55 male or female business title of some kind, business, travel interest. soccer interest, has no children, has a degree, drives a Mercedes. Just as an example, and search this Facebook from a mobile phone. You can get that particular with your targeting and come up with a person that is your absolute ideal. You can assume a lot about a person, and kind of scary, but Facebook knows it. They're going to know what type of computer you have, what type of phone you have, which you use more often. So you can assume a lot of things about the person you're targeting to and really bring it down to that type of person to make it so that your clicks essentially are more valuable to you. You can get a lot of clicks and a lot of traffic from a broader scoping, but as you get into it, you really want to start figuring out what kind of traffic is working for you, what is resulting in sales, and that will you'll end up in some really niche targeting when you do that. Let's see. And it looks like Sunny sent over a 20% checker website for everyone. I'll go ahead and bring that up for you guys so that you know what site it is. So social/contests.com/check/image. So that'll tell you whether or not your image has the 20%. And if you're using canva.com to build your images, they have a specific Facebook image canvas, for lack of a better word, that will tell you when you have too much text on your ad. It'll kind of guide you there. So that's a good tool. Thanks, Sunny, for sharing that. And then we have a question, what actually triggers your ads? For example, keywords. Keywords is definitely something that triggers your ads. But it has to do with a lot of things. There's a full Facebook algorithm that triggers your ads. It has to do primarily with your budget and how much money you can gear towards posting your ad. If you have a very low budget, you're not going to get prime time. Kind of like, think about it as the online Super Bowl. If you're dealing with 10, 20, even just $100 or $200 budgets, you're not going to get an ad posted at a certain time of day if you're doing really broad targeting. So if you're just trying to target all flower shop oriented people in the entire United States, and most of those people are getting online Facebook at 8 p.m. at night, they're not going to show that at 8 p.m. at night. So your budget is definitely something that triggers the when and how of your ad. And then your demographics is what decides who it triggers to. So keywords, as you said in your question, is also your demographics. It's your targeting. So it's all part of the same group in Facebook. And that's where you'll choose keywords of interest, as Facebook likes to call them, interests of the people that you're targeting to. And someone said they would like more info on a good starting point for setting up detailed targeting. I would just encourage doing what we've talked about here, going ahead and practicing your first ad with low budgets to just get used to the system. And then we're going to have a workshop where all we're doing is meeting in small groups, and you can tell me more about your business and I can help you really start to feel comfortable digging into that targeting and those demographics and choosing things particular to your business. Feel free, we will be posting a Q&A at the top of our Facebook page. So the Boostability Facebook is facebook.com/boostability, and you'll see that we have this thanks for attending the webinar. For any continued comments or something really particular you want to get into for the next couple of days over the weekend, we're going to pin this to the top of our page, so it'll always be at the top of the Boostability page. Go ahead and comment with any particulars or questions that you have, and I will get back to you. I will do my best to answer all of those questions, or if it's really detailed, I'll let you know when our workshops will be so that you can get in here and really we can talk back and forth about it. How does Facebook prioritize a one-day $10 ad versus a one-day $100 ad? That's a good question. They definitely prioritize it based on the way that you're targeting. I would say the less money you're putting into an ad, the more targeted you should be, because let's say if you're doing a $10 one-day ad, if you have very broad messaging, again, if we're just going with flower shop example and we just do people interested in flowers that live in the United States, there's different ways to target your ad. You can control the cost per impression. When you're setting up your ad, you can say to either let Facebook automate it, which could mean that a $10 ad gets shown once to anybody scrolling through at that time, because that could allow Facebook to spend full $10 on showing an ad, which usually doesn't happen. When you have Facebook doing the automated targeting for you and the bid pricing, you'll usually see things in the kind of $1 to $6 range. You can choose to say, I'm not going to pay more than 50 cents an impression, so you get the most out of that ad if you want to stay with broad marketing, and then it'll show, you know, many more times. But if you're going to have a smaller budget, I definitely would recommend at least bringing your location down to a niche when you first get started, and then practicing just keywords, finding keywords, figuring out your persona, adding those to the system, and bringing it way down so that you're really getting the most for your money. The way that Facebook prioritizes a $10 one versus the $100 one has entirely to do with the history that you have. That's a big part of the algorithm. If somebody has been doing a lot of Facebook ads before and has traffic to their page already, then Facebook has built trust with that person. So you don't have to spend money with Facebook to build trust. They just, essentially part of their algorithm is monitoring the traffic to and from your page. And I know that that can seem kind of discouraging. It's kind of like getting out of college and your first job is asking for 10 years of experience. How are you going to have 10 years of experience when you just got out of college? And there's so many aspects of life are like that, and Facebook is unfortunately just another one of those where you need to practice, you need to get traffic to your page, you need to do a couple $10 ads or a couple $100 ads before they give priority to you. And then, yeah, the biggest difference between $10 and $100 on priority is that they'll show the $100 one more often simply because it has more money to be shown, more money to put towards those impressions. How to use a video clip as a visual ad? That is a great question. To get started with that, the easiest way to do it is to upload the video directly to your page, to post it as a post, and then to boost your post. So to do engagement to that particular post. And that's going to be the easiest way to really promote a video clip. But that's a great question. That's a good question for a workshop, and I will write that down, and we'll figure out how to schedule a workshop on that. And show people, okay, this person wants to know how to do an ad that will send people to your website. So this one, we'll go back to create an ad. This one can be a lot more intimidating your first time. So this is a great question. So this time we're going to say send people to my website. And this is where you choose the address you want to send them. So let's say I just want to send people to my homepage. I just want them to know about me. My homepage is best. They'll really be captured by that. So you probably, if you haven't done ads before, you're probably not going to have a bunch of URLs already in here. You can type one in. So you can manually type in your homepage or copy and paste it. Make sure that your link works. I highly recommend putting it in your browser and then copy and pasting it, because it's such an easy mistake to make, to put a URL that just has a slight problem with it, and then you're paying all this money for a URL that doesn't work. So you can go ahead and set audience for that, get started, and then you set it up in the exact same way as you would any other ad. You do all of your targeting. Let's say this time I want to do, oops, my target, there we go. Say this time I want to add more targeting, want to make it broader. I want to make my age like so. I want to be only women. Want them to speak English. Going with flowers again. You can choose as many as you want here. You can just go and go and go and go on these detailed targeting keywords. And it's great. Once you start adding more, Facebook will give you suggestions. So I'm going for a flower power hippie girl between 25 and 65 in 3 different countries. And then, just to be safe, I'm going to do a lifetime budget. I'm only going to do $100. Clicks to a website. I usually let Facebook do automated targeting, but as I was talking about just a moment ago, if you want to get the most bang for your buck, you're not necessarily concerned with prime time. You can control it by saying, I'm not paying more than 25 cents per click. And then you can go through these details. I'm not going to spend too much time there. And then on the next page, sorry, that's just my account in particular because I chose a long time. You won't have to do $150. So when you get to the next page, this is where you set up creative. This is the prime difference between, sorry, close that. This prime difference between boosting a post, boosting your page. Those 2 different ads kind of have things already set up for you. When you're promoting your website, you need to have images created and you upload them here. So the easiest way to get started is to do the single image or video. This is another way of doing a video advertisement if you don't want to post it on your page and you just want to do an ad for it. So you can do the single image. It'll show you an example of what the image looks like. And here, if you need help getting started, Facebook provides free stock images. So if you don't want to get in, at least at first, if you don't want to get into creating an image and putting words on it and things like that, you can come in here and you can say, I'm going to do these 4 stock images. I don't want this image. And click done. That means you have 4 variations of this one ad that you are creating. So you can see here, this is what a desktop newsfeed example looks like. This is what it would look like in mobile. This is what it would look like on Instagram. Audience network means there's other shared networks that Facebook has with other companies. And so that's what it would look like there. And that's what it would look like at the right hand of the page. And then you use these to scroll through the different images. Since we chose 4, just see them as you scroll through here on the right. This determines the page that you're posting to. This is where you would set up your Instagram account if you wanted to go to your Instagram page as well. And then this is where you set up what you want it to say. So the headline goes here, and the text goes here. So remember how we were talking about on the 20% rule, put your information above the post? That's where that would be. So if you have any more questions, again, the URL is something we chose at the very beginning of the setup. You can choose the type of button, so you can say watch more, it's a video, You can say download if you're offering something. That's the button that goes right here, and then you click to place order. So if you need any more details on setting up a website particular advertisement, just let us know. Again, go to our Facebook page and leave us a message, and we will discuss that further or create a workshop for you. So let's see what other questions that Sunny has for us. Okay, so the person that asked about triggering wants to know how you can measure 3 different ad campaigns of exactly the same ad, but to 3 different demographics. And that is a good question. So after you set this all up, if you're going to get into running multiple ads, there's a couple of different ways to do it. So let's see here. Let me see what the best way of showing this would be. That may be a video that I'll need to make for you in particular, because I don't want to give away any private information of this ad account in particular. But essentially, once you've created an ad, you'll have a broad scope view of an advertising campaign. You'll see the campaign name in your advertising page. So let's see here. If I go here, it might show me my old advertising messages. So there's a couple different ways. I don't have any advertisement messages set up on this account in particular. Let me try this one. Okay, so here's an example of what your account will look like after you've set up campaigns. So these are all different posts that have been boosted, and you'll be able to see, as you went through the create advert steps that we've done in this webinar, you'll create different campaigns. And that's a great way of getting started first, rather than learning how to create a campaign and do advert sets. That's a great way to begin. And then you'll see it all here based on your campaign name. So let's say this campaign name was Boost for Thought Post Oregon, and this one is Boost for Thought Post New York City, and you have different targeting. So the name of your campaign will indicate how you targeted that information, and then you'll be able to see whether or not the campaign is delivering, whether you have it turned on or not. Then you'll see the results. This will show the number of impressions that it's gotten. The reach will, or results will, sorry. So results are the number of clicks that it's gotten if you're doing a web clicks campaign, or number of engagements it's gotten if you're doing an engagement campaign. Reach is your number of impressions. Cost will be how much you've spent on it so far. Amount spent is total in the time that you're looking at. So this particular report is last 30 days, and it'll give you a total of all campaigns. And if you have an end date for your campaign, it'll be here on the end. So you got to this by going to your Facebook page, clicking in the top right corner and clicking Manage Adverts rather than Create Adverts. And you can see the success of what you've posted and the difference between the different demographics that you've set and the different campaigns that you've set for those demographics. And let's see other questions here. $0.25 per like, depending on your targeting, that can be good. I would say the ideal, the benchmark for Facebook likes would be anywhere between 3 and 12 cents. So if you're paying 25 cents per like, that probably means, it could mean that you're way too targeted on your information. So that's something that we'll have to take a look at and dive in deeper for your question there. The next question is, do you encourage hashtags on posts? I do for Twitter, but not for Facebook. Although you can utilize hashtags in Facebook, it's not necessarily a Facebook thing in a way. People don't search by a hashtag all that often, and hashtags tend to turn away a lot of audiences from reading a post or taking it seriously on Facebook, whereas things like Twitter, it definitely promotes your posts and helps people find it. If you were creating just an Instagram ad through Facebook, you can make sure that that ad only goes to Instagram and that you're targeting Instagram and not targeting all the other areas of Facebook. And that would be a very good instance of using as many hashtags as you want. There's many studies that show that Instagram, the more hashtags, the merrier, especially hashtags that are used often. So that would be a case where I would encourage putting a hashtag on a post that you build on Facebook. The next question is a good question. To get more likes, should you create an ad to boost, or should you create an ad to get more followers? So if that goes both ways. If you want just that post to get more likes to the post, then it would be a boost for the post. If you want your page to get more followers, it would be likes to the page, which is a different campaign. You can do just a more followers campaign in hopes that they will, see your recent posts and like them. And sometimes that works, but people don't have to actually visit your page to respond to your page following ad. So they most likely won't see your most recent posts, and if they have many, many friends. For people that have less than 1,000 friends, they have more in their news feeds because their news feeds don't get as jumbled up, and they probably will see your most recent post after they like your page and can choose to engage on it. So if you want engagement on a post in particular, definitely boost your post. If you want to grow friends, that's something that I just recommend doing at a low budget across a longer period of time, so that when they do like your page, if they do visit, they're seeing your different posts. So for following a page, I would recommend doing something like a $100 budget for 30 days, rather than, as you're testing these other type of budgets, you're doing 1-day turnaround or a 7-day turnaround on a budget. I would recommend doing a low budget across a long period of time and check in on it often at first so you can make sure you're getting what you expect to get from it. If you ever have any questions about it, again, ask us on Facebook, tweet us, reach out to us, and we'll see what we can do to help you. Let's see the next question. Someone asked, if you did a $20 budget across 7 days, how does Facebook determine how that money is spent? If you just do a max budget for one item across 7 days, then Facebook, if you have that automated bidding, Facebook will choose to spend it however they see fit to really match to your targeting. If you lower and control your cost per click, then that can spread it out over time. But as you get more advanced into it, you can choose an overall lifetime budget at the campaign level. And then when you build ads within a campaign, rather than multiple campaigns, you can choose to spend only $2 per day on an ad, for example. And that will help spread it out over time. And that's something that we'll definitely get into as we get into more advanced workshops with you guys that show you how to build ad sets rather than campaigns. So that would be kind of the next step, the next major step. Once you're used to creating campaigns and running different campaigns, then we'll teach you how to put many different ads inside a campaign, do some A/B testing and things like that. For the location, does it target people living, visiting, working, or just passing by? So that is kind of a mix of everything. For location, Facebook will determine location in two different ways. For people who have filled out their profile and said, I live in Sydney, Australia, it knows you're from Sydney, Australia, and it will target, local posts to you in that way. But it also knows your location based on IP address. So it will also show advertisements for people that are visiting in that sense. So if your profile says, I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, but you're in Sydney and you're online, it's going to know that you're in Australia. The best way to make sure that you're getting people who are just visiting is to target people, target the type of persona that would be traveling and would be visiting. In most cases, when you target to location, you're going to be targeting to what people have updated their profile to be. But again, that's part of a complicated Facebook algorithm. If they also know when people aren't updating their profiles, and they can determine that, hey, Kaz has logged in to Sydney, Australia the last 100 times she's been on Facebook, but her profile still says Utah. They'll know in that case that they should be targeting Australian posts to me, anyone that's targeting there. So that's just something that they determine over what is the most recent information about somebody's location. Let's see. Can we add a custom call to action? Facebook doesn't currently allow customized call to actions. They are adding new call to actions all the time. So they have about a dozen different ones you can choose from. If something, like, for example, if something is too sales oriented, they don't include it. They don't include kind of the sign up now and the buy more and the things like that. So if that's something that you want to include, like for example with this webinar, the sign up now call to action, I included it on my image, and then I utilized the Facebook Learn More button, and that way you're mentally targeting somebody to sign up through your image, and Learn More button is just an extra frill. You can also choose to not include a button and just have them click the link that you include with your post. So it has no button at all, and you can rely entirely on the button that you, the kind of call to action you include on your image. Is there a percentage of click-through rate that determines the success of your ads? That is a fantastic question, and that varies on business, and it varies on type of ad. There are a lot of really great benchmarking reports out there that I encourage Googling some of those reports. That's a good source that I'll make note to add a link to our Boost You here. Let me write that down really quick so that I remember. So yeah, I will add a link to some of those reports to our Facebook page on Boost You. So essentially, it depends. For the click-through rate that you're going for, there's high click-through rates for follow ads versus website click-through rates. In some cases, these reports will break it down by industry. So let's say you're a machine shop promoting your website on Facebook. And in a case like that, having just a 0.3% click-through rate is fantastic. I would say on a broad scope in general type of thing, if you're asking somebody to do something, it's on a scale of what you're asking them to do. So the more you're asking of them, such as visiting a website or a landing page, the lower the click-through rate benchmark is. If you're asking them to click one button to follow and they don't even have to leave Facebook, the higher that click-through rate is. And I would say in general, regardless of the type of advertisement that you're running, 2 to 3% click-through rate is ideal and difficult to get on any type of ad. And then if you're starting to see above 5%, you're doing a really great job. But I would aim for getting to that 2 to 3% range, and it does take time. It's one of those things where you're rarely going to get it right off the bat because it takes time and it takes targeting. I'm not saying it takes time for Facebook to give that to you. I'm saying it takes time for you to figure out what your niche success is. So the longer you have something running, the more you'll get to know your persona, that persona that you've imagined about somebody. You'll get to know it more, and you'll be able to say, hey, I've figured out my ideal person likes dogs too. Again, it's one of those things that has nothing to do necessarily with you and your flower shop, but it has more to do with the type of person that's buying flowers from you. You're starting to really build out that persona into a campaign, and you'll see that it will result in a higher click-through rate, and it will result in more sales, more people walking into your store and visiting your website. Let's see the next question. How do you know your ad will be the one to appear for that target you choose? That's a good question. You can, once you've taken an ad live, you can click on it and you can view it. You can view it live. It will take you to what it looks like live in a news feed, for example. You can't actually see in all cases that it's working for a particular case. The way that I know that it's working is that we tend to get engagement on whether it's a website click ad or a post engagement ad. We tend to get comments on it. You'll see that the ad is getting more views when you're here on a page like this and you click into each particular post. You'll be able to get more and more information about the success of that post and graphs about when it's being clicked on, when it's being engaged on, and when your dollars are being spent. Facebook will tell you all of that information, and in my case, when I run an ad, I actually do often see my own ad out there targeting me, for example. So because I just happen to be the persona that we're also targeting. So that's one way that I know that it's working. But definitely you'll know through the different Facebook analytics, and that's pretty much the best you can do in knowing that something is being targeted in a certain way. So you'll see the details, you'll see the clicks, and then really gauge if that audience is working for you based on who's commenting. There have been times, for example, that I did some really great targeting for an ad, but all of the commenting that we were getting definitely weren't small business owners, for example. We posted an ad that had a picture of a grandma baking, and it was supposed to be really engaging based on what we were doing. Then we ended up with a whole bunch of comments from people just saying, oh, that's cute, and sharing it to their grandmas and sharing it to their friends, and it just went viral, which was great, but it went viral in the wrong way. We didn't want all these young people just saying, too cute. No, we wanted people to click through to a website, and there was nothing about the entire thing that was meant to be cute. And we realized that, hey, our targeting might be right, but our advertisement itself may not be targeting the right people. And so that's one of those cases where you immediately know from the people engaging that it's not going the way that you want it to, that the analytics don't necessarily show that, and turn it off and you try again, kind of thing. So you just kind of have to take in all of the information that you receive through engagement and through reporting to assume how things are going for you. And if you're not getting a whole lot of information, then test things against each other. Create a similar ad in another campaign and test it in a different location, or create a similar ad in the exact same location and just test a different image for the ad and see which one is going to get more traction. And then always, give it, I would say, give an ad at least 2 weeks, and for prime time, give an entire campaign 3 months. If you give an ad 2 weeks, determine the winner out of 2 ads, turn off the losing one, choose a new one to turn on that is just slightly different from your winning one, and give it another 2 weeks and do the same process again. Determine which one is working, assume why it's working, turn off the one that's not working, try something again that you think might work better, and just keep on gauging 2 ads against each other. All right, next question. Does every Facebook ad cost something, even if it's a public service announcement or a no-profit? Yes, unfortunately, it does. The only cases in which something like a public service announcement, like an Amber Alert, for example, Facebook gets involved with Amber Alerts, that's something that they do on their own as a company and notify everybody. So costs them money, but they don't have to essentially pay to run an ad or anything like that. But for anybody, whether you're a nonprofit organization or not, your Facebook ad does cost you money. If you do have a nonprofit, that would just be filling out the paperwork in order to claim that as an advertising cost for your business, and just dealing with it on the tax side. Unfortunately, there's nothing in particular that you get to do with Facebook that says, I am this kind of business, do I get a discount kind of thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way with Facebook. What are the best ways to get viewers to easily click to our landing page or website from an ad or post? Is it to embed links, text in an ad, an above or below hot link? Those are really great examples of different types of posts that you would A/B test against each other. I would start campaigns that have I never run more than 3 ads against each other at the same time. So if you're going to go for the same targeting and tweak the difference between your ads, never do more than 3, because your budget gets thinned out and you don't get a realistic point of view of what the winning advertisement actually is. But those are 3 perfect examples, because what works for you may not be a broad scope of what works for someone else. So I would test one that has the link in the text. I would test one where the link auto-populates as a hot link below, and I would test one that essentially has it as part of an image, and see what works for you. In my experience overall, which may not be the experience that you'll have, which is why I encourage testing those 3 different scenarios, in my experience, people tend to, let's use this example, people tend to ignore on an ad, even in a personal post. We have to admit it, when you're posting about what your dog did today and it's so cute, they're going to ignore this text first. They're going to look at the image first as they're scrolling quickly. First, the image captures them, so you want it to be capturing, you want it to be short and sweet. Probably not a whole lot of text on an image. Also, you have to do the 20% or less rule for Facebook. So the image will capture them. Only after an image captures them will they read your details. So then if you have something really great to say, that would be your second level of capturing, something witty, something funny. In that case, I do like to put a link in the text as well. And that works for boosting a post. However, putting a link in the text on a website ad like this one, sometimes Facebook won't let you do that because the link already exists to click on. It depends on the link type and what it is, if it's the same link that you're already promoting down here or not. So you'll have to test that out. But in a case like this, where you're running clicks through a website, it will automatically create this hot link setup for you, which is great because, you know, somebody gets captured by your image. If they're not captured by this, they still know where to click. They still know what to do. They just keep on going and they click right there without reading everything you had to say here. So this is something that I encourage in all aspects of marketing. I call it kind of the no child left behind version of marketing. I like to really appeal to all different types of personalities. You have your, you know, going back to personas, your Facebook personas, you have your people that are fast scrolling clickers, fast scrolling ignorers, and people that really want to know your business and they're going to read everything that you have to say. And you want to pertain to all those people. People engage in different ways just like they learn in different ways. And therefore, I like to have some snazzy text. I like to include a link in the text whenever I'm allowed to, plus a snazzy photo, plus the hot link down here. But I would say above everything, regardless of your type of scroller, people stop for photos. So you always want to have a photo that really matches what you're trying to promote and engages people into that. And if you're noticing a lot of people are stopping on your advertisement but not engaging with it, you want to probably test some different photos, because that means, you know, they stop on this photo because they assume this photo means, you know, copy shop, for example. Maybe somebody gets copy shop out of it and then they read this about SEO and they're like, well, no, so they keep scrolling. So that's a good indicator. If you have super high impressions with no clicks, and impressions will always be hundreds of thousands more than clicks, but if you're getting really low clicks and really high impressions, that's essentially an indicator of a bounce rate. Somebody's not getting what they expect from your ad and you'll want to switch up your imaging. So that is, we've gone well over time, and thank you for everybody that has hung out with us for the last hour and a half. We definitely want to answer all of your questions. So if you have any additional questions, we're going to take all the questions that have been answered in this webinar. We're going to post them to our Boost You with a copy of the walkthrough video and the webinar. But if you want an answer immediately, again, go to our Facebook page to the very top where you will see this post for the next few days. We'll keep it at the top, and just comment with your questions and we will get back to you on any questions that you have. Sunny, do you have anything else for us?
Yeah, just one little thing for the last few of you that have stuck out to the end. We know that you are really excited about creating Facebook ads, and we have one more final poll if you're willing to take it. We just want to kind of know how you feel about Facebook ads, and if you feel like you can successfully create ads and you're willing to jump out there and take the plunge. We'd love to just kind of feel how, you know, rate your progress and saying, do you feel okay in trying to do it? You still have some questions? Not at all. And again, that will give us a little bit of feedback, because if you still have some questions, that gives us information on the things that we need to cover in more detail for you guys, and so that we can create additional webinars and additional tools and resources for you. So we appreciate all the feedback that you guys are giving us on this poll really quick as we wrap things up. Once again, thank you so much for joining us on our webinar, and just look for all our upcoming webinars. We will be adding more to our list, so keep going back to boostability.com and you can look for our webinars and our complete list of upcoming webinars in the future. All right, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you sticking it out to the end, and we hope to see you on the next webinar.